post-COVID is what people didn't know, what I didn't know. You know, you go to the hospital, I'm home, but that's not what COVID is.
Masks are going away. People are getting vaccines. Life is moving forward. But a lot of people are still coping with post-COVID symptoms. We call them long haulers. It's good to see you. I'm Evan Millward. WCPO 9 has put together special coverage focused on helping you re-emerge and rebound. We start with doctors at UC Health telling us they're seeing hundreds of patients, about 10 new ones each week right now, who are reporting recurring and lingering COVID symptoms like chest pain, fatigue, shortness of breath, and loss of taste or smell. Let's take a closer look at what doctors know about these long haulers. They range in age from 16 to 90. Their symptoms range from mild to severe. The vast majority are younger women. About 75% are women and 75% are 30 and younger. But Dr. Richard Becker with the UC Heart, Lung and Vascular Institute says most people under 50 who've had this virus are having lingering symptoms.
Up to 70% of individuals that are less than 50 years of age with COVID, including mild COVID, will have one or more lingering symptoms up to 6 months after their initial infection.
Dr. Becker says patients are improving with therapy that exposes them to a wide range of tastes and smells to retrain those nerves.
Because the virus has an impact on nerves, and nerves are very much the way that we appreciate smell and taste. So we're retraining those nerves to do what they would do normally.
He says doctors will continue to learn and do research leading to answers and treatments for those lingering symptoms. Some patients who had severe cases of COVID-19 wonder if they'll ever fully recover from their breathing problems and fatigue. Anchor Julie O'Neill sat down with one such patient that you might recognize.
Attention Goodwill shoppers.
Michael Flannery is back on the megaphone, enthusiastically sharing his message as Goodwill's spokesperson, as he always has.
If you donate stuff and shop in our stores, you change people's lives.
But a candid conversation on his back deck with an old friend and colleague allows the former comedian and WCPO 9 News reporter to share what recently changed his life.
Today is not a great day for me. I feel weak. I have pain in my joints, and I'm tired.
Michael first learned he had COVID-19 February 17th. 2 days later,
I remember I couldn't breathe. I remember going to the ER.
1 day later, he was on a ventilator.
I didn't know that when I went on the ventilator, I had about a 30% chance to make it. That's kind of scary.
Pictures like this one of his daughter Grace fill in gaps from the days Michael doesn't remember.
That's Grace looking at a Zoom call of when I was in a coma. The kids would call me every day and talk to me.
These are some of the goofy pics he sent them to lighten the weight. And on March 9th, this is Michael documenting his big moment leaving the hospital after 18 days. Now he was headed to a rehab facility.
What people don't seem to know about when I'm talking about COVID is how much longer it lasts after COVID, and that you have to learn how to walk again, or that you have to learn how to brush your teeth and take a shower again, because when you get off the ventilator, your arms and legs don't work. I was only on for 6 days. There are people who have been on for 5 months.
And then there's the emotional recovery. There's a form of post-traumatic stress here.
There is. There's survivor's guilt that I never thought I would ever experience. A lot of folks I haven't had many, bad dreams. You're back in the hospital. You can't breathe again. Or you try to walk and you can't. I feel bad for all that the kids and Stacy went through. Can you imagine going a week and thinking your husband or dad was going to die? You know, that's I feel terrible about that. It doesn't affect my job at all.
Yeah.
I'm still 100%.
Yeah. No surprise, Michael Flannery is still good-humored, but he wants the people who prayed for him to know he's forever humbled.
Oh, man. people have been so good to me. And yeah, it's so much easier to give than to receive.
As we all get back to work and life, Michael's simple message about those whose recovery from COVID will be a long haul.
It's an invisible syndrome that the folks who are long haulers have. So just try to remember that if you know somebody who's a long hauler and that they're going through stuff.
Michael will continue to see a pulmonologist after pneumonia damaged his lungs. He wants to thank all those who've sent cards and posted caring messages.
Oh, Julie, so good to see and hear that update. You know, with more and more people getting vaccinated, many of us are headed back into the office. The world certainly looks different than it did 1 year ago. So when is the pandemic officially over? We took that question to Dr. Steve Fagans of Mercy Health and the Hamilton County Public Health Department. He says COVID-19 will never be over. It will just move from a pandemic to being endemic.
During the peak of the flu season, there are in this nation somewhere between 50 and 150 flu deaths per day, for an average of 100. So what is it that we feel comfortable with? 300, 200, 600? And so it's a case rate, and more specifically a death rate, that determines when we have moved from sort of pandemic to endemic. Not a number of people or a percentage of people vaccinated or who've had something. It's the case rate that defines that for us.
With a pandemic, Fagans says you will have an epidemic on multiple continents that's unacceptably deadly and can't be contained. Endemic means something's always going to be around, like the flu. But the case numbers are manageable and, for lack of a better word, reasonable, or they stay at a certain level. We'll be right back with more stories to help you re-emerge. You know, as more people get vaccinated, more and more companies are gradually reopening their offices. But if you've been working from home for more than a year, you may have gotten used to it and you may not want to go back. Reporter Lisa Smith talked to legal experts about the rights employers and employees have when it comes to returning to work during and after the pandemic.
As an intern, Brock Dalton's office during the pandemic was a desk at home, but it gave him a view of what work life could be.
I think going forward, I would prefer a hybrid approach, some days in the office, some days not.
He's not alone.
A lot of people who have reached out to me, the question is, well, do I have to go back?
We talked to two attorneys who've gotten lots of questions about company and worker rights when returning to work. Stephen M. practices employment law with the Finney Law Firm, and Chad Willits practices employment law with the Reminger Law Firm. He works with companies on HR decisions and says a number of companies are taking measures for workers to return.
Health and safety protocols are important. Right? So starting with an assessment of the workplace, right? Where are the high traffic areas? Where are people going to be congregating? What risks are present?
Both attorneys say some workers may have the right to work from home if it's to accommodate a disability.
Or if that would allow them to perform the essential functions of their job by working from home, then the employer may have the obligation to allow them to continue to do that.
Another question, can the boss ask about your vaccination status?
Companies can lawfully ask employees about COVID vaccinations. And that's because we're in the context of pandemic.
But M says that could be tricky.
And that can cause some serious concerns in terms of invasion of privacy and violation of the ADA.
However, both say companies can require you to be vaccinated with some exceptions.
It does have to have an exception for sincerely held religious beliefs, and it has to have an exception for employees who have disabilities that make taking the vaccine inappropriate or dangerous.
Even though your employer can require you to be vaccinated to return to work, legal experts say even though they can, doesn't mean they should.
Is it better to take a slightly different approach? Hey, we highly recommend this. We're going to maybe incentivize our employees.
He says the ADA, OSHA, and anti-discrimination laws are guidelines, but employers also have to be sensitive to employee concerns and potential disputes over things like wearing a mask.
Yes, that employee has some protection from harassment, and that's something that as businesses and HR professionals, we definitely want to keep an eye on.
Lisa Smith, WCPO 9 News.
Both those attorneys say they expect lawsuits will be filed over employment disputes ahead. They recommend companies and workers get legal advice if they have any questions. This comes as Ohio communities that rely on commuters paying income taxes may soon need to come up with new plans to pay for things. The Ohio House approved a bill in May stopping cities and villages from collecting taxes from people who used to work in those communities but now work from home. That law would be retroactive to January 1st of 2021. If you worked from home in a community without an income tax, under this bill, you could ask for a refund from the city you used to work in. The Senate in June approved a bill that would allow remote workers to get refunds going back even further into 2020. The Ohio House and the Senate are now reworking those before one bill heads to Governor DeWine's desk. Going back into the office isn't the only hurdle parents are facing, though. Some families are still hunting for quality child care that'll keep their kids healthy and productive over the summer. Reporter Monique John spoke with parents and child care professionals working to support families during this transition period.
Jessie Kelly thought she had struck gold last month. The 35-year-old mom from Price Hill was offered a new job at a manufacturing company less than 10 minutes away. But her more than year-long job search morphed into another search for childcare.
It was already difficult enough trying to find childcare that met our needs, looking for something that was both diverse, inclusive, non-religious. That was before the pandemic. Now it's even more complicated.
Kelly had looked at a dozen childcare centers in just weeks, but it's tough getting a spot and finding the right fit. Some were taking fewer children to follow distancing precautions against COVID. Others working over capacity from not having enough staff.
If I don't find something suitable in time, then I'll pass on that job and I'll look elsewhere.
Childcare providers we spoke with in the Hamilton County area say that they have been receiving an influx of calls from parents looking for care since April. The director of this center, the Gardner School of Blue Ash, says she's even received calls from employers, too. The companies were researching childcare openings to support their employees with children. The school is back at pre-pandemic enrollment with about 200 kids. Teachers have been working overtime, spending more time supervising children because their parents are back in the office.
Some of them are getting here earlier and staying here a little bit later because, they're not coming just from home. They're going from home to here to work now.
Noting the additional support needed by families and children this summer, Cincinnati Public Schools expanded its Summer Scholars Program. The enrichment program, once reserved for younger and special needs children, this year, students all the way up to grade 12 can participate. Parents have been taking advantage of the program to keep their kids busy as they navigate the return to work. At the Cheviot School, for example,
we have 123 students signed up for Summer Scholars, so that's really impressive.
Normally, only about 5% of the student population signs up. Even though the program doesn't run all summer long, Solomon Gray says that continuing children's education through the summer can have a significant impact in closing learning gaps. The principal is determined to get her students back on track.
There's just been a loss because of this pandemic, but it's nothing we can't recover from if we all lean in together and keep our kids first.
In Cincinnati, Monique John, WCPO 9 News.
So your boss called. He wants you back in the building. What if you prefer working remotely? What to tell your employer if you want to make that home office permanent, as our special coverage continues after this break.
It's the big move back to the office this summer, but some of us are not ready for it. So we talked to the experts about how to talk to your boss about keeping a flex schedule. Beth Shermer has a schedule most office workers dream of.
I'm fortunate to have that kind of flexibility.
This chief officer at a downtown law firm and mom is in the office 2 or 3 days a week, at home the other days.
It's nice to know that if I have the HVAC guy coming and I can stay home and I'll be in.
I think a lot of people are going to like the flex schedules.
Urban planner and former city council candidate Chauncey Brown says he can't comprehend working in the office 5 days a week anymore.
This new capability that we have has made it a lot easier than I think we expected it to be.
But many of us are not so fortunate. The office doors are opening up, the face masks are coming off, and the boss wants you back in the office next week. But what if you're not ready to return full time?
Coming back to the office, some people aren't really ready for that.
Employment attorney Kelly Myers says if you want a flex schedule, don't just ask for it. Email your boss with specific reasons for staying home. Explain the benefit for the company.
Come to your employer with why working from home is good for the company and good for you. Make it a win-win.
Then explain why you'll be more productive working at home.
Give your examples about how your productivity was met or exceeded working from home.
And have a plan for face-to-face time.
How you will address meeting with people who are in the office now.
Beth Shermer's company is fine with flex schedules, but yours may not be, and you could find yourself missing too much.
The potential disadvantage is out of sight, out of mind.
Kelly says if everyone but you is back in the office full-time, you run the risk of being passed over for promotions or worse. So consider asking for just one flex day so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese, WCPO 9 News.
Whether your boss wants you back in the office or not, more and more of us are starting to travel again, right? We're taking a look at some of the changes to air travel that might be here to stay after a nearly record-setting Independence Day weekend.
I feel safe because I'm vaccinated.
Jonathan Bernstein's coming back from a wedding in Virginia.
It was a nice event because we were able to get together in a larger crowd without masks and celebrate a nice occasion.
It's nice to get out of Texas for a little while.
Chris Bird is here because his wife's at a conference.
I've never been to Cincinnati, so I thought I'd come along.
It all feels so normal, right? Business at CVG's back to about 80% of what it was at this time in 2019.
There's a lot of pent-up demand.
And even more people are getting back in the car.
Road trips are the preferred method of travel still.
AAA says 95% of travelers are driving. 61% of Ohioans are planning a road trip.
There are a lot of people that want to go to the beach. Yep. So the eastern coast is very, very popular with our travelers here in the tri-state area, as well as the national parks.
But what restrictions are still out there? As of the start of July, almost none in the U.S. A couple of cities have mask mandates still, but our border with Canada is still closed to tourists for a while. And if you're headed overseas, you may need to show a negative test. You can get one at CVG now for a price. And you will have to show a negative test to get back. What about when you get to your destination? Most hotel groups still have some amenities and housekeeping restricted. One union says we should get used to that. A new report from hospitality union Unite Here claims as many as 39% of housekeeping jobs could never come back as some hotels move to end daily room cleaning and make it request only. Hilton tells WCPO 9 News its digital key for contactless check-in and check-out continues to expand, and you'll be able to choose what, if any, housekeeping you want during your stay moving forward. Back at CVG,
we've kind of made the turn.
Beneath these federally mandated masks, you know there are smiles.
I don't think it's over, but I do think that we certainly have made much progress, and I think we can start normalizing things again.
Important to remember here, federal law requires masks still in airports, on airplanes, buses, and trains, at least through part of September. Business travel still lags right now, but experts say it could almost be back to 2019 levels by this fall. If you are feeling anxious about traveling to see family or even returning to the office, you're not alone. Here's a few tips from the CDC about how to cope with that stress. Take deep breaths, stretch, or meditate whenever you need a short break. Make time to unwind and relax at the end of your day. Disconnect from your screens when possible, even if it's just for a few minutes. Eat balanced meals and get plenty of sleep. And finally, connect with loved ones and your community. Chances are you're not the only person feeling stress. Reaching out to a friend or neighbor might help both of you. We'll be right back with more special coverage. We've talked a lot about going back to work, so if you are headed back into an office, pet owners may notice your furry companions are feeling a little bit more stressed too. Reporter Whitney Miller tells us how you can keep your pet happy, help them deal with separation anxiety.
As if Derwin and I could get any closer, 2020 has proved that our bond is stronger than ever. But as we gear up to head back into the newsroom this fall and I'm working outside of the house more often, I can tell he is not going to be happy, and he is not alone. The pups at Red Dog Pet Resort and Spa were happy to get some human interaction. Their owners are trusting resort staff to get them nice and tired while many of them head back to work.
A lot of people, during COVID, they got lonely, and so they're spending all this time at home, so they went out and got puppies.
And now that they are heading back to work, some of these puppies have never been around other humans, let alone other animals.
This is uncharted territory, and so with the puppies coming in, they're like, oh my goodness, there's other dogs here. How do I act? How do I be a puppy? I'm not with mom.
Chelsea Davis says a lot of people are choosing to bring their pets to Red Dog because they are showing signs of separation anxiety.
Anxiety and behavior disorders are one of the most common things that we hear from pet owners in general, not just separation anxiety, but just dogs being anxious. So definitely a thing.
Some of the symptoms, she says, can be as simple as pacing and whining to severe cases where the animal begins to become destructive.
It's basically a panic attack. They don't know when you're coming home and they don't know how else to deal with their anxiety.
She says the animal is usually just panicking without their owner. Her advice is to start establishing a routine when you're getting ready to leave.
Do what we call an inverted triangle of activities. So we start with exercise and then maybe do a few minutes of training to get them mentally kind of stimulated, and then a few minutes of just cuddling.
If they're up to being around other animals, taking them to a doggy daycare is also a plus. Red Dog offers evaluations of pets to see how well they will interact with other people and animals. In Oakley, Whitney Miller, WCPO 9 News.
Whitney and Derwin in Oakley. If you're concerned about your pet and think they may be suffering from separation anxiety, it may be a good idea to get your vet involved. They might be able to offer some additional solutions tailored specifically to your pet. Well, that's it for our special coverage here, helping you re-emerge and rebound. We're always on with breaking news and weather and sports on WCPO.com and in the WCPO 9 app. Thanks for watching.